Jimmy Reed. How you doing, brother?
Oh, Carl?
Hey, man. I wanted to have you on the podcast, and the topic that I've got picked out for us is overcoming the challenges.
There's so many.
Overcoming the overcoming the challenges.
Yeah,
So
that's a broad topic, buddy. We could talk
that
for
that is
hours.
a broad topic. So I love ping ponging back and forth. So just for our listeners, this is totally unscripted. Jimmy and I are we've been good friends for, I don't know, 3 years now, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I said, hey man, let's do a podcast. He says, Jimmy being Jimmy said, sure. What can I do to help? Right? You have a giving spirit. And so I thought we'd kind of popcorn this back and forth. And so I'm going to ask you, like, what's one of the challenges that you see loan officers have? And then you ask me, and we'll just kind of popcorn this back and forth.
Yeah,
Sound good?
that sounds perfect.
What do you see as one of the challenges? And let's talk. Let's signify. Let's say a medium producer. So let's say a loan officer that's doing more than, let's say, at least from 2 loans to say 6 loans or 7 loans a month. So let's put it in that
Like
different set of challenges.
50 loans a year, something like that.
Yeah, let's just say that, something like that.
Um, I would say the what pops in my head is that I feel so lucky to be in this business. I
Mm.
feel like I don't know how I got so lucky to fall into to being a loan officer because of the opportunity and the sky's the limit. And because of that, it's also very easy to not make it. Like I think that the last time I looked at a statistic was like something like less than 10% last more than 5 years of licensed loan officers, something like that. It's pretty low, success rate.
No way. That number absolutely shocks me.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people who get their license. In all fairness, that never do anything with it.
Yeah.
But if you just measure all the licenses and say who's still licensed 5 years later, it's something like it's a single digit number, pretty close to 10%, somewhere between 5 and 10.
So what I'm hearing you say is, for our friends that are listening that's been doing this at least 5 years, you're in the top 10% just by still being here.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
Wow.
of licensed people for sure. And I think that that's kind of the benchmark. Like once you make it 5 years, I'm not saying it gets easier because it's not an easy job, but I do see momentum, and I do see it start to perpetuate itself. Your business, I mean. And I think that for a lot of people, if they're new, because I think there is some new people in our industry, uh, you really got to just not give up.
So
You
what do you
know,
think? All right, well, this might take a different direction then. So the 90% that didn't make it, what's the number one reason why do you think?
they don't manage their own expectations.
Tell me about that.
This is my belief because you only feel bad. I don't know what the word is. Bad about yourself, like a failure. You only feel down bad if you had a higher expectation than you achieved or maybe even came close to. So like you say, well, how do you keep getting up in the morning? How do you keep handling rejection? I say lower the bar. I say
Mm.
like what is your definition of success? And like just being active. This is the weirdest thing to me in our business. When I get active, I think I'm going to get business from here, but I ended
Yeah.
up getting it from over here. But if I
Mm.
hadn't been active, I wouldn't have got it from over there. Do you see that in your business? Like just activity alone, it just branches out into opportunities that you maybe didn't even see. The only thing that doesn't work is inactivity.
It's funny you say that. I think I told the story here in a podcast last several weeks. I was it was early in my career. I was doing a deal, uh, which back then, depending upon what rate we quoted, was how much money we made on the loan.
Mhm.
And I was doing a loan, and I think I was literally making $150 on it, like the deal, like literally $150, right? To the good. Like once I paid the processor and everything, I think there was 150 left for Carl, right? Which obviously lower than typical. And I was grumbling to my branch manager about, I shouldn't have taken this deal, and I'm only making 150 bucks, and hell, it's not worth my time to answer a phone for that. And he told me something that I've never forgotten, and this is like over 20 years ago. He said, Carl, nothing's better for business than closing alone. Nothing's better for business than closing alone. And so it's kind of it equates to about what you're saying is, hey, when you do an activity, uh, things like just like good things happen. Like you just
Well, like look at your example. How many times did you get to update the borrower and both agents during that transaction and create a relationship that could still be going on?
dude, I remember I did this closing one time. This was again, this might have been either my first or second deal. It was certainly the first 10, and it might have been the very first deal I ever closed. The I found the buyer first, and then the buyer already had an agent.
That's
And the
dangerous.
agent, her name was Penny Bogdanos. I'll never forget Penny, or still is, I guess, still is Penny Bogdanos. I think she since Penny Bogdanos. Went to closing with Penny Bogdanos. What I didn't know that I learned, she's a big deal in this area, right? She's a heavy hitter. And everybody in my county knows, and I got a big county. Everybody in my county knows Penny Bogdanos. Like she's the cat's meow, kind of the mama bear, right?
Mm.
And we're at that closing, and I did my Tuesday updates, and right, I did all the deal and talked to respect because I had no other client, right? So what I had, that was my one deal for the month, kind of thing. And I go to the closing, and for whatever reason, she took a shine to me, right? She was almost like a motherly figure. Actually, at that age, almost like a grandmotherly figure. And I'll never forget this, man. So at closing, went to closing. At the end of the closing, she literally grabbed my shirt and pulled me over to meet the other agent. And the other agent was a guy, Roger Fruits, another huge deal here in my county. And she said, Roger, this is Carl White. He's the best loan officer I've ever worked with. If you don't send him your next deal, I'll never show one of your listings again.
Really?
Dude, I swear this is a completely 100% true story, right? The best way I
Wow.
remember it. Yeah. And so, and again, I didn't know, but Roger Fruits was actually the president of that county's association, Realtors Association, right? He was all so somehow I had just chance. I say chance. You and I know there's no such thing as chance, but
Yeah.
I was in a situation where I was working with two big whales, dude. If you would have looked at all the closings I've ever done and looked at the family tree of where each one came from, a huge amount would all go back to those two people. Like,
The one deal.
and then I met a listing agent and a title company,
Yeah.
this and that, and it all, and it just goes back that, you know, action begots action, there's nothing better from business than business, man.
There's not. There's something to watch out for in that too, because we're not. Neither one of us are proponents of doing loans for free because you won't stay in business if you do every loan for
Yeah,
free, right?
yeah, yeah,
So don't take that as the message. But what I see happen, obviously, it didn't happen to you, but it might have happened to me some point in my 28 years of doing loans. You end up, you know, doing it really, really skinny like that
yeah.
because for whatever reason, there's a couple different reasons it could be, and you kind of begrudge it, and you do a crappy job
Mm,
and you don't call them back.
mm,
And when you talk to them, they can hear it in your voice. You have a little disdain.
mm,
Like, if you're listening to this, don't do that. Like,
mm.
that's double dumb. Like, that's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this AI thing that's coming and what it's going to do to the industries and the world and stuff. Listen, it's going to make fulfillment a level playing ground. It's going to make underwriting, verifications, things like that are going to be even. And so the only thing that's going to have value is this. The person who has the relationships is that's not going away. And being out there and being active, it's not going away. So like if you're listening to this and you feel threatened by AI, man, it's an opportunity. You don't got to do all that paperwork no more. You can spend all the time doing the fun stuff. I mean, how much more fun is it to go to a signing and meet those two agents and get introduced, right, than it is to like sit here and figure out some worksheet calculations.
Mm,
You know, yeah.
mm.
It's always about how you put your hat on.
So I guess that the moral of the story is just start doing stuff. Do
Yeah,
something. I never forget. I had another guy, Dean. Do you know who Dean Jackson is by chance?
yeah,
You know Dean. Okay,
yeah.
so just by chance, Dean lives about an hour and a half from me, something like that. And so there's a Starbucks that we meet at from time to time, kind of a halfway point. And I asked him a question one time, which I've asked this question probably like literally hundreds of times, literally. And it's like, and my question is, Jim, what's this one single activity you do that makes you most of your money? And up to that point, 100% of the time, everybody always goes, and then gives an answer, right?
Hmm.
He was the first person ever that ripped off an answer. Like he was sitting there waiting for me to ask it, and he had his prepared answer ready to go. And
I'm ready.
his prepared answer was having conversations,
Mm.
having conversations, having conversations. Now, obviously, having conversation with the right people, but having conversations,
Well,
and Dean does well. Dean does very well, right? Dean's
he
top
does
of the
very,
food
very
chain.
well.
Yeah.
But Carl, like having conversations with the right people will give you maybe a better result, right? Be more targeted about having the conversations with the right people. But just having conversations will work.
Mhm.
I
You know,
mean,
that's
you may
that.
not be a billionaire when you retire. You may not be a multimillionaire when you retire, but you'll be able to provide for your family.
Hmm.
Like it's funny because what the way I say it is like if I'm either on the phone with a borrower, on the phone with a realtor, on the phone with a builder, or sitting in front of a borrower, or sitting in front of a builder, or sitting in front of a realtor, or I'm not doing my job.
Yeah. Hmm.
Period.
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, dude, when we met,
Uh-huh.
right? It was just at the time, it was just another conversation, and 3 years ago or so. And now, you and I, but we do a lot of collaborations together, and it's evolved into something, that I never even saw. It certainly wasn't planned on. It was just a conversation. And yeah, just having conversations. Being locked up in my office, working on my CRM is not a good use of my time. It's having conversation. Need a CRM. Need to have somebody set it up.
Oh yeah.
I might not be the best person to do that activity. It's better for me just to go out and have conversations. So, how is it? So those that tapped out. What do you think the number one reason they tapped out?
I looked into it a little bit. So don't take this as the gospel or whatever, but a significant portion of them, let's say maybe a third, they had other household income. Because this job's tough to do if you don't got to do it.
Okay.
A third of them, you
Hmm.
know, only got licensed for 1 or 2 years. Most of them like 1 year and then gave up.
So in
And
other words, they were a hairdresser, a barber, worked at the tire store, whatever.
they thought they were going to try it, and then
School
didn't
teacher,
didn't
cop,
find. Well,
fireman.
yeah. Oh no. Well, no, no. Their household, in other words, their spouse,
Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay.
right? So, you're my wife works. She doesn't, but let's say my wife was some IT manager at Wells Fargo and made 600 grand a year, and I decided I'm going to be a loan officer. It's a
Hmm.
hard job to do if you don't have to do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
For most people, not for everybody, but if you don't got to do it, it's kind of harder to do. Um, so that was a third of them, right? So looking at for secondary income for their household, it's not like being a loan officer is not. It's similar, but it's not like being a realtor. You know, we're mostly W-2 type of people. It's more of a structured job, even though it's not as structured as some, and it doesn't provide you know, taking off for 3 weeks and not talking to anybody, coming back and maybe re-engaging. It just doesn't work in our industry, right? So
Yeah.
you got to be all in. Some of them didn't give it long enough, and some of them didn't find mentorship. And I think really what happened for me is I found mentorship really easy. I was always I was always in sports. I always had coaches my whole life, and so as soon as I as soon as I did loans, I looked for the best loan officers in our company and like made sure that they liked me.
Teach me,
You
oh
know?
great one.
Yeah, yeah. Made sure they liked me and made sure they wanted to hang out with me. And I listened and I put my desk near their door and listened to how they talked. And then pretty soon I sounded like them. That's how I did it.
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. Yeah. Yeah, I always thought if you want to run a race, find the fastest car on the racetrack, follow their tracks, right? Follow their draft.
Yes.
Hard to go wrong there. See what lines are they using to get into the curves and whatnot. So
Yeah.
you ever done one of those by chance? One of the like NASCAR ride-alongs? You ever done one of those by chance?
I have not. I do. I've done the kart racing, the outdoor kart racing with the shifter cart that goes really fast.
No way. You've done that?
I've done that. That's scary. It's fun. And
Yeah.
I don't really have I don't have a high fear thing. So I've wrecked pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm ever going to get one of those real fast cars.
Yeah. I got a very dear friend of mine I've known since freshman college. His name is Jimmy Ploto. And Jimmy's very successful, a little bit of in a good way, a wild man. He's always into, hey, if you say, hey, man, you want to, he'll always say, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's do it. Right.
I like
So,
that.
kind of knows no fear kind of thing. Not stupid, but, knows no fear kind of thing.
Adrenaline junkie.
Yeah. Better way. Yeah. He's an adrenaline junkie for sure. Right. So he did one of those NASCAR ride alongs and he came back and I said, dude, what was it like? He said, Carl, I literally thought I peed my pants. I was so scared.
So
And
scared.
I thought that was interesting coming from Jimmy, because Jimmy's a man's man, kind of thing. And he said, he did it at Daytona, and he said, dude, about the time we go down the backstretch, I'm at full speed, and you see this wall in front of you, which is turn three. He said, it looks like a vertical wall, and it looks like you're literally going to hit the wall. And he said, he said it was just freaky as hell. So I thought, oh, I'm
I
wanting to
don't
do.
know that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not jumping. I'm also not jumping out of a plane.
no, not going to happen.
Not gonna do it.
When I was in the Air Force, a bunch of my buddies one weekend, they said they're going to do it. And no, I became a pilot, right? I did become a pilot,
Really?
but I thought the odds of me jumping out of one of these things, yeah, that's not going to happen. Hey, what do you think is the hardest part of being a loan officer?
Defining success for yourself.
Hmm. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, I know that answer came pretty quick, but I've been managing on average. My branch is 20 loan officers for 28 years. Half a billion. Good sized branch. Nothing like world record setting, but pretty
Good. Yeah.
consistent. And loan officers have come and gone, and the thing that they get, their own frustration holds them back. Really,
Hmm.
Carl, what I would say is lack of gratitude.
Hmm.
Like, it's hard to not be attractive if you're in gratitude.
Hmm.
Like, you got to be attractive in this business. And I don't mean good looking. And I don't mean physically fit. I mean like attractive energy, like easy to be around, happy, fun, collaborative. Like you're
Hmm.
very collaborative. It's easy to talk to you. But a lot of officers think they need to go meet with referral partners and tell them what to do. Do you like to be told what to do?
Hmm.
I don't.
I push back from it.
I don't like it. My
Unless I'm writing a check for it, and then
Yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
if I'm being coached, right?
yeah.
If I asked,
Yeah.
yes, the good clarification. If I asked, I want to be told what to do, and I want to be told rigorously. But like my dad told me when I have five sons, and my oldest son when he turned 13, my dad goes, "Well, you're about done with him." I'm like, "What are you talking about? He's done listening to you." I'm like, "No way." He was so right. He don't want me to tell him anything no more. I have to change my approach entirely with him. I took about a year and a half too long to realize my dad was right, but it's more like, well, what are you going to do?
Mm,
And then what do you think?
mm.
what like get them to think like collaborative with your business partners is so much more effective. Like, what's your biggest frustration? Like, what do you think we should do? What about this idea? What would happen if we tried that? Because if you choose a path together with a business partner and you set out to execute whatever it is, a marketing plan, open house, a farm, I don't know, whatever,
Mm.
instead of saying, oh no, this is how you do it, I swear they're going to stick to you because they're going to enjoy being around you, and that's attraction. That's what I think.
Mm.
What do you think?
Um, about what? Which one?
Well, like what I noticed about you, like here's something I look for in my referral partners and my friends and people I work with. I'm sorry, Carl.
It's all right. We can edit that out.
Um, Something I look for people I'm going to spend time with is like, do they have friends from college that they still talk to?
Mm.
Think about that. Because what does it mean if they do, and what does it mean if they don't?
How many?
Well, it's assumptive on my part, so I'm not telling everybody that this is it and that's that. But like, it takes work. It takes collaboration. It takes give and take to maintain a friendship for 30, 40 years. There's going to be times where it's difficult to maintain that friendship, right?
Mm.
And so you're going to have humility, and you're going to have grace, and you're going to have gratitude. And those are all things I want to be around.
Mm.
But my way or the highway, that's not much fun to be around.
Mm.
And I think that when people get that uh error, that I don't know what the right word is, when they get that, when people get a feeling that you're a my way or the highway person, it repels them. It's like being told what to do. And
Dude,
it's right.
I have never thought of that. What a very interesting introspection. That's that. My best friend. I'm sitting here thinking about of all, and I've got some. I've got a lot of friends, but I've got a very few like best buddies or budettes, right? Some are ladies and some are gentlemen. And so
Yes.
I just got back from spending a weekend up in North Carolina. My best friend in the whole world, other than my dear beloved, the lovely Mrs. White. So I'll say my second best friend in the world is a dude I met in the fourth grade.
Really?
Yeah, he's my best friend in the whole world, and I just finished hanging out with him up in North Carolina for a couple days, and just a really good guy. And
That's
then we
awesome.
went, yeah, and then we just went boating with another guy I met in the eighth grade, and then this lady friend and her husband that I met in the ninth grade. And we were buddies. This lady friend, we were just buddies. We never like we just had class together. Like we'd never romantic or anything like that. But like I just love some of my old friends that I've known for like in my case, some of them, for come 58 years, something like that. So one thing I have found is like with friendships or with any relationships, nothing replaces time. That's the one thing that you can't fast forward. There's just something about that years and years and years of friendship, both in business and in our personal life. Nothing replaces that. I treasure that above all else. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So you think about that because that's fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 And like, I've got the first realtor that I ever worked with
Tell me.
got handed to me by a loan officer. Todd and I were working at Sierra Pacific
Okay.
for Jim Cafrini.
Okay.
And I was Todd's assistant, and I was going to be a loan officer. And this guy was Cafrini's brother, who was getting out of the business. And there was this guy named Ray Dare, who was a realtor. And he introduced us. And I still work with him today.
Mm.
And it's like, that's fun to see him. It's fun to talk to him. but really, when I think about those things, it's like, wow, I want all my business partners to be like that. But in the way the world is today, I'm not sure that I'm actually pretty sure that you can't reach the numbers that you want to and have that level of relationship with everybody who is a business partner. So I really think these days you've got to look for those special people in business that have the kind of relationships you have, right? Because then you're open to those kind of relationships. Because Carl, if you're my business partner, there's going to be something I do at some point that I'm going to let you down, bud.
Hmm.
And if you're the kind of person who doesn't have long-term relationships, what it means is you don't have grace. That's what I think.
Mm.
I may be wrong. Listen, this is all Jim Reed theory. This is no book. I mean, someone could be like watching this and say that guy's crazy. That's fine, but this is just what I see, right? So,
Mm.
those people end up alone with the crickets if they don't show other people grace.
Mm.
So I want someone who shows grace. I want
Mm.
someone who's hard to get to know, not hard to get to know, hard to earn their business, but has long-term relationships because that's what I want. But how many can I have and spend time with them?
Mm.
Maybe 10 to 20. So then I also have to have a tactic for going wide with like 500 or 1,000, where I don't have those kind of relationships with them, where it's just a service level, thing. But I got to be really picky and really specific about who I choose to go really deep with in the 10 to 20 that I'm going to have relationships with, so I can maximize for my family. I mean, that's how
Mm.
I think.
Grace is one of my favorite words, just FYI.
Oh, without it, we'd all be a mess, man.
Oh, dude, people
Oh,
have extended me such grace, and
oh,
in my belief system, I think we share the same belief system. In my belief system, boy, the good Lord has shown me a lot of
oh,
grace over the years. You know,
yeah.
and
People who have people who have been my friends for a long time, buddy, they got
yeah,
good grace.
and
Yeah.
and sometimes I screw that up myself. Sometimes I screw that up myself. So good stuff, man. Wow. Hey man, so great spending. I usually keep these to drive time or walk time,
Yeah.
like gym time, something like that.
Awesome.
Um, hey, and just as an FYI, as our listeners are listening to this, I hope it's okay to mention this.
Yeah.
You're going to, I know it is. You're going to be joining us here in October at our little mastermind retreat that we're having down here in Clearwater Beach. And let me tell you something. Clearwater Beach in October is a very good place to be. I'm just telling you, it's a good place to be and it's a good time to be there. You ever been here to Clearwater by chance?
I
I know
have.
you've been to my house, but have you ever been to
No, I've
Clearwater?
been to Clearwater. I've ridden that indoor surf machine for hours and hours. There's
Oh,
one right there on the beach. Yeah, I love
yeah,
Clearwater. I'm super excited to see all the people and to get to hang out with you for a day and a half
yeah,
and do some learning. I'm super excited.
yeah, and you're gonna be doing some presenting. So hey, if you want to join Jimmy and I, mastermindretreats.com, mastermindretreats with an S .com. Hey, so I always like to have like an action item on the episodes. Help me with an action item here.
For the for the
Showcase.
people listening to do.
Yeah, yeah, like and maybe it's something like a business thing. Maybe it's write down a list of things that people have shown you grace over the year to teach you how to
Yeah,
give grace, like whatever.
yeah. Is it okay if I give two?
It's dude, it's absolutely you
Yeah,
can get three.
yeah. So two. So the first one is like every morning when you get to work, like have a start time. I don't care when it is. I don't care if it's 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't care when you start work necessarily, but have a start time that you commit to. Have a start time
Hmm.
and make it super consistent. I'm telling you, just that will propel you.
Hmm.
It'll propel your activity and your action. Like it's impossible to get into the game and not start playing. Like you don't get into a basketball game and not start playing.
Hmm.
You get hit in the face with a basketball. So have a start time. And at the beginning of your start time, write down three things that you're grateful for and three things that you're going to accomplish today.
Hmm.
It's a 5-minute journal book. Some people have it. I have it. You don't need the book, but you can get it. But I'm just telling you, if you just do that one change, it'll be humongous.
Hmm.
And the second thing for focus, these are both for focus, is make a list of everybody you've closed a deal with in the last 24 and 25 on both sides of a transaction.
Okay.
Every realtor you did a deal with,
Okay.
write down next to their name how many buyer sides that they did. Use the software to look it up.
Yep.
And then
Easy enough.
next to that number, write down how many you did with them
Mm,
and add up both columns. That is enough business for you.
mm,
Just that is enough business for you that you've had a chance to create a relationship with, that you could go back to. You could. They know you. It's not a cold call. It's not. I don't know a lot of people who really love cold calling. This is not a cold call. But look at all that opportunity that all you got to do is be an attractive person, not good looking, attractive energy,
yep. Yep.
and show grace. When you give grace, you know what happens?
Tell me.
People give it back.
Hmm.
That's what I find.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah. I think people give you what you give out. I really believe that.
100%. 100%. And it's like you learn that in therapy. They call it projecting.
Mm. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. We need to do this more often, brother.
Yeah, we will.
So if somebody wants to learn more about Jimmy, other than coming to mastermindretreats.com, any like where do they hook up with you at?
So next level. So the next level coaching.com is my website. We have a coaching program, mentorship coaching program that you can check us out. Um, and my email and contact information is on there. And I would welcome any questions about any of the stuff we talked about.
Yeah. You're a good dude, man.
You too, buddy. It's been fun.
All right, brother.
All
All
right.
right. Hey, thanks a lot for listening. Yeah, go check him out. What was that website again?
thenextlevelcoaching.com.
The Next Level, THE, the next level coaching.com.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, bud.